Hi, everybody. Today we've got a hypothetical matchup between J.B. Pritzker for the Democrats and Doug Burgum for the Republicans. And this was suggested to me a while back in the comments. And given there's different ways you could play this out, I'm going to try to go quicker. So I'm going to start filling out the map with the safe states as I talk about it. So we've got two governors, Illinois and North Dakota. Both of them are also extremely wealthy, which means they're going to be able to self-finance and they're going to have all kinds of connections. Now, to me, J.B. Pritzker, he kind of brands himself as a progressive. On some issues, that's the case. On some other issues, he's going to be more establishment. But the question is he going to be too far left for the general electorate? He's going to have some blind spots, probably on crime and immigration. But Doug Burgum, most voters would not really know who this guy is. He did run for president, but I'm going to assume his name recognition gets up. And he's kind of also straddled the line between anti-Trump and pro-Trump. I'm going to say he's sometimes Trump. He's a mild-mannered guy, but he's not from any kind of a significant swing state. So I did try to look over where he stands on the issues. The big weakness for him is going to be abortion. I'm sure Pritzker would paint him as too harsh, but there's really no telling what's going to happen. It really comes down to the national environment and how they run their campaigns. So it is going to come down to the same battleground states. As you can see, Alaska, I think, will be over 10 points. Colorado, I think that's going to be 10 for Pritzker. And if we go down to the likely states, there's really no bombshells here. We've got Texas, Iowa, and Ohio for Burgum. Pritzker's going to pull in Minnesota and Virginia. I don't think much needs to be said. Maybe you slightly disagree with the margins. That's fine, but I don't think there's any doubt on who would win those states. Now, if we go down to the lean states, we've got New Hampshire. I think Pritzker is going to win that by a few points. I just don't think Burgum is going to be exactly what they're looking for there. Burgum's best bet is going to be some libertarian type of positions on guns and taxes, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win New Hampshire. Also, I can't forget about New Mexico. That is likely for Pritzker. Now, the other lean states, we're going to go down to Florida. That is going to go to Burgum, and it could hit 5 points and go likely. That's a possibility. I have it at about 4 points. I just don't see Burgum exciting enough voters down there. Enough of the Trump base is going to come out, but some of them are going to be a little underwhelmed. Another lean state for Burgum is going to be North Carolina, and I also have Georgia. That's going to flip and go to Burgum, probably only by 1 to 2 points, but I think Burgum is not going to be too extreme for the Atlanta suburbs. That is, if they're not solely voting on the abortion issue, but I'm going to say Burgum is going to be able to win that state. Also in the Southwest, Arizona. They're not huge on the Trump brand in this state. It's similar to Georgia. You've got Phoenix and Maricopa County. That's where a ton of the population is. I think these days Burgum would do a little bit better than Trump would. He'd win the state still by a narrow 1 or 2 point margin. Now let's go into the Rust Belt. We've got Michigan. These are some tough states in the former Blue Wall. However, I think all Pritzker has to do is come out with 1 or 2 populist economic positions, show some support for unions, and that's going to be enough for him to carry the state. So I've got Michigan going leans for Pritzker, and Pennsylvania also leans for Pritzker. Maybe it's only 1 point, but maybe it's 4 or 5. I just don't really see Burgum being able to win them unless it's a massive red wave. And also, I don't want to forget about Maine at large. That is going to go likely for Pritzker. The first district is going to be safe. The second district, that is going to go to Burgum. I think this district is looking for somebody a little bit more in the Trump direction. So Burgum still is going to win it, but it's going to be by a lean margin. Now let's go down to the tilt margins. Let's start in Nebraska second. It's a little bit redder after redistricting. However, the trends are not good here for the Republicans. I think this would be extremely close, but in the end, I went with a tilt for Pritzker. Now let's do Nevada. Maybe the state is trending toward the right a little bit. I just don't think Burgum is going to be able to get it over that hump. I think it would be close, right around 1 point, but I'll leave it as a tilt for Pritzker. And the last state, that is Wisconsin. This could also go to either side. You could emphasize higher taxes, crime, and immigration, and say Burgum wins the state. Or you could talk about abortion, collective bargaining, and Burgum's lack of charisma, and say Pritzker wins the state. So I try to even everything out. The state also does border Illinois, where Pritzker is from. That could help him very slightly. So you got to pick something, and in the end, I settled on a tilt for Pritzker. So the final total is 276 for Pritzker, 262 for Burgum. Pritzker edges it out. I think the blue wall would hold. I do think it would be very competitive. I just don't think Burgum has the star power to get it done. I think he would be overshadowed by Pritzker. Aside from abortion, I think Burgum would have some reasonable cultural appeal, but I think the economics would be of slightly more importance. That's why I think Pritzker is able to win. But again, If it was any kind of a red-leaning environment, then I think Burgum could win it. As I always say, there's a ton of different factors out there. You're going to pick some different things to focus on. This is the map that I settled on. Let me know in the comments, who do you think would win this matchup? Do you think Burgum would be able to get it done? Or do you think Pritzker would come out on top? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you would like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.